Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I have a fascinating topic for you guys. This is going to be talking about almost a case study and the rise and downfall of Ford Motor Co in India. So, immediately getting into the topic, let's talk about the initial days. The initial days were basically based in the early 90s and the early not in the early noughties, basically the early 2000s. They started all the way back with the introduction of the Ford Icon, the Josh machine, as it was known. The Icon has been an iconic car throughout the entire Indian car scene. It really inspired many car enthusiasts of that point to actually go to the track and race their icons and have a lot of fun. Ford at that time and for even the upcoming years has always been known for delivering to the driving enthusiast too, along with good quality materials. The Icon was known for its handling capability and even its quite powerful engine, and that is why it was appropriately termed as the Josh machine. Really went well with the Indian consumers and really was a successful product for its time. However, it was getting on the older side later in its life cycle. And while they did introduce other cars like the Mondeo, they simply didn't hit with the Indian consumer. And that is where the next generation of Icon came in the form of Fiesta. Now, the Ford Fiesta, while not a huge runaway hit for Ford, it certainly was a great car for them in terms of just appealing to the general Indian consumer who's looking for a great sedan. And it did enter a competitive segment filled with cars like the Honda City and even the Hyundai Verna. And while it did not sell as much as those cars, it certainly created and carved out a niche for itself, again due to its great handling characteristics and its powerful engines too. It was again a great car for driving enthusiasts and people who preferred the Ford way of driving their cars. However, the real turnaround came, I would say, when they introduced the Ford Figo. This was around 2010, which was when they saw the introduction of the Ford Figo. Now, this did really revolutionize the company's fortunes in the entire Indian market. This really did allow them to actually push forward and go to the next scale, increase their production levels because ultimately this was a hatchback. And at that time, it was the hatchbacks which saw a majority of the sales. People were preferring premium hatchbacks, and Figo was just that. With the Ford brand name on it and a great car, again, known for its handling, known for its power delivery, and even generally good reliability. It really did go down well with the consumers and again allowed Ford majorly to scale itself upwards and increase its reach throughout the Indian market. Now, another revolutionary chapter, and perhaps I would say the biggest hit for the company in India all time, has to be undoubtedly the Ford Ecosport. The Ford Ecosport really brought in a new segment of cars in the entire market. The one which we refer to as the compact SUV segment, which are generally under the 4 meter, which are under 4 meters in terms of length. And this was again done specifically to apply for exemptions from the government so that the taxes and the excise duty can be actually reduced. But Ford was actually the pioneer for this segment. They really brought in and started this segment with the EcoSport. And EcoSport was a runaway hit. It really resonated with the consumers with great design, great tech, also with the Ford Sync system. It really allowed for great user friendliness, especially in terms of new technologies and the SUV styling. It really did hit well with the consumers, especially the back tire hanging off the EcoSport. That really also allowed for a greater appeal and its general driving characteristics, ride comfort, and even its engines. and also the possibility of owning it in automatic gearbox options really did allow the EcoSport to be a runaway hit and have a great string of sales and have a great string of successful evolutions as such. Whenever the car was updated, you would see the EcoSport being the sole winner for the entire Ford brand, and actually it ruling that segment for a long while until, of course, you saw newcomers like the Vitara Brezza, now known as the Brezza, or even the Hyundai Venue, the Kia Sonet, that really did take the sting out of EcoSport. And with Ford not updating the EcoSport as much and not bringing in a true second generation for the car, this did really impact the sales and ultimately was slowly phased out as Ford also wrapped up its journey in India. Now, of course, we have other halo cars as well, like the Ford Endeavour, like the Ford Mustang, which again are halo cars. They represent a lot for the Indian consumer. They are poster cars as well, and ultimately dream cars as such for many of the consumers. But they were never really successful in terms of sales. But they certainly did enhance the Ford image over the entire market and did really do well, at least as per the set compared to the expectations which general analysts had thought of. Uh, Especially the Endeavour, it did really win the hearts of all Indian consumers, especially off-road enthusiasts or just general SUV enthusiasts who still like the Endeavour. And I personally know many people who are actually on the hunt to go ahead and find an Endeavour which they were never really able to do before, but now they are in a position to do so, and they're actively looking to buy an Endeavour wherever possible. Now, another important journey for Ford, it really resulted. The downfall really started when there was a failure to update products. While they did introduce products like the Figo Aspire, which did do mildly well, but again not revolutionary as such, and they did update their existing products like the Figo, like the Ecosport. It didn't really meet the market demands. Alongside that, there were service issues which they saw throughout its entire dealer network, and this really did slow down the sales. And it was just really the cause came down to the fact that the products were not getting updated, and the competition was just getting stronger and stronger. While they were delivering better on technology and comfort, they were also matching up to Ford in terms of, or coming close to Ford in terms of driving dynamics, greater engines, more reliable engines, and this really did vanish. This really did result in the market for Ford getting vanished and no Indian consumer turning up to buy Ford cars. Another reason has to be pricing. Ford was sheerly not competitive on pricing, especially for what they were offering, and this again caused a great mismatch between the consumers and the company itself. Now, of course, later down the line, they were eyeing a merger between Mahindra itself, and while all of us were really hopeful of this taking place, and the Indian unit of Ford, of course, but we were all hopeful that this would take place, but ultimately it didn't, and this did sadden us because this ultimately did result in Ford leaving India, and I still think what that merger could have led to, what great results that merger could have led to. We have all seen the great strides which Mahindra has taken on its own with its product lineup, and with the additional capacity which the Indian unit of Ford might have brought on, to really have been a great delight to say the least. But nevertheless, that merger did fall through, and this really closed the chapter for Ford Motor Co. in India. And while we would have liked to see more of them, the sad part is that they were never really in tune with the mass Indian customer, where you would actually get those sales from, which it's competition like Hyundai, Maruti, Mahindra, and even Kia, for example, have really nailed it now. And later down the line, even Tata Motors, they have really nailed down the mass formula which works with consumers. And here, this was simply not the case, and that led to its failure and ultimately one of the last chapters taking place with them also selling their Sanand plant, ironically again, to Tata Motors for just 750 crores. And this really does close down the Ford story in India, at least as of now. We might see, of course, we'll still continue to see the old cars which were sold on Indian roads, but we'll never really get to see new launches like the F-150 Lightning or even the new Bronco or even the new versions of Fiesta or Figo or the new Focus. They really have great cars outside India, and sadly, we won't see them here. But then again, you never know. If the market conditions do improve, Ford might as well return. Till that time, let's just see and let's just hope for the best for Ford Motor Co. globally. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you did like this detailed case study about how, or a summary of how Ford went through its entire journey in India and why it is important to remember such an iconic car maker in India and why they have been a major contributor to the Indian car market as a whole. I hope that you do like this video. Share this video with all your friends, family, and keep on tuning into my channel. Thank you so much.